Hi, so in today's video we are going to discuss about grids. Let's take an example. All right, let's take our let's remove all this. Let's create some basic content first, right? And we'll say within this div, and I am going to call it, let's say, card. All right, and within this card we are going to put a paragraph. All right, this is my first paragraph and I am putting some content here. I'll wrap this. I want to discuss about CSS grids, right? We'll create another div here. Div, we'll call this class card as well. This is my second paragraph and I am putting some content here. I want to discuss about what are grid templates, grid columns, and grid rows. Alright, div class card p lorem say 50, right? uh, Div class card p lorem 40, div class card p lorem 30, right? I'll save it. I will go to my, so this is how it looks like. All right, what if we go here and we say we are going to give them some IDs. We are calling them 1 ID, 2 ID, 3 ID, 4 ID, 5. Alright, saving it. Here we'll create two styles. So #1, #2, sorry, #3 will have background colors as lilac. I don't know, there's no color as lilac. We'll try to create some color. FFFFF. I'll try to pick a color here. Let's say I want this sort of color and I'll give them a text color of white, right? Then 2, 4 will have background color as this color, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will have a background color slightly burgundy, and I'm going to give them color of white color, white. All right. I'm gonna save this. Then for all the cards dot card, I want font family to be Verdana. All right. I want size to be 20px. All right. uh, Actually not size, font size to be 20px. I want all the cards to have a border radius of 10px. I want all the uh, cards to have, let's say, a border of 2px solid white. Alright, and now I'll go here. As you can see, we have kind of sorted it out. I'll just reduce the size a bit more. I want the font size to be 12px. So now if I go here, yeah, this is what it looks like, right? Maybe let's add some padding as well. Padding. I want padding to be 2px or 5px across all sides. Yeah, okay. Now we are going to create this into a grid. So now in order to turn it into a grid, let's first define the layout that we are expecting, right? So let's say I want my first card to take this space. All right. I want my second card here. All right. Third card here. Fourth card like this here. And fifth card here, right? So this is all our cards that we want, and now this is like a complicated layout that you are looking at, and this is our container, right? And I'm going to put this behind. Yeah, so this is our container, right? And all of these are our cards. So if I go here and let's say card 1, right, this is our card 2, this is card 3, card 4, and this is card 5, right? Now if you look at this, how many columns do we really need? That's something that we'll have to figure out, right? So let's say how many can you divide this into, let's say, rows and columns, right? Just you would do in a table. So if we are looking at rows, you can see at least minimum we are looking at 2 rows, right? I'll do this in a different color. I'll use black. So we have here row 1 and we have here row 2, right? How many minimum columns do we need? So if you look at this, this row is like the minimum size of things. So sorry, this column is the minimum size of things. So this is one division. Here there is another division. Here there is another division. Right? Right. So you have to look at the minimum size and then start dividing. Even if it divides other cards, that's okay, but like the minimum divisible function is this. The reason being, this card 3 multiplied by 2 will become almost the size of card 1, right? Similarly, card 3 into 2 becomes the size of card 4, right? In fact, if you go row wise, this card 3 into, if it spans 2 rows, it becomes the size of card 5. So that's what you ideally want to do, right? So now let's say we will take this. Now we'll count our columns. We'll say col 1. We have col 2. We have col 3. And we have col 4, right? So this is what it looks like now, right? So we'll start making this grid. So first we will go and we'll say, I'll give a comment here, grid, right? So our grid container, which is this green line, is basically our div class container, right? So we are going to say container is basically a grid, all right? And this grid needs at least template columns of 4, right? We have 4 columns, 1 2 3 4, and each of them should have a size of 1 fr, right? What is 1 fr? 1 fr is basically fraction, 1 fraction. So you are saying 4 columns, 1 fraction each. So that's the division of things. But if I save it and I go to my page, I will see no change. That's because we have not said which uh, which divs are part of it, right? So how do you do that? You go to, yeah, so actually I made a mistake. I just realized it. It should be, I'll remove this first. I think it is repeat for 1 fr. I think that's it. If I save it and I go here, yeah, so as you can see, what it does is it creates 4 columns now, and in each of these 4 columns it tries to put one div automatically. But since we have 5 divs, it goes 1 2 3 4 and then wraps the 5th one and puts it here, right? Let's say if I did 3, so it should wrap the 4th one as well and put it here, right? But since we need 4, we'll take 4 and voila, we have this, right? Now if we go to our grid, go back to our grid, we'll see that card 1 takes the space of these 2 columns, right? And we ideally want to do that, right? So how to do that? We'll have to go here and we'll say our #1 we'll grab it by the ID and we'll say grid column start is 1. So it starts with 1 here, all right? This will be considered 1. I'll try to put it as 1. It'll go till 2 and it'll go from there, it will go for 3. So it's checking for grid lines, so it's taking 1 2 and 3, so it will have to say 1 2 3. So 1 grid column end is 3, right? And I'll save it. I'll go here. Yeah, so it's now taking the space of this, right? We also want that this card 2 remains as it is. So this is my second paragraph, it remains as it is. All right, we want our card 3 to shift here. All right, card 4 to remain here and card 5 to take the space of 2 columns, right? How do we do that? Because after card 2, card 3 comes in, right? But here the card 3 is shifting here, right? So is there a way that if I shift card 5 for a call span of 2, so let's say if I look at this, so this is 1, this is spanning 2 rows, right? So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, right? I'll just shift this here back here. I'm gonna say 1, and here I'll put it as 4. I'll call it 5, right? So row wise it's taking the space of 2. So let's try that. Hash 5 should start from grid row start 1 and end at grid row end 3, right? Let's see what happens. So now it's breaking the system and going up, right? And yeah, I mean what it is doing is it's starting here, but yeah, there is some issue here that we are not seeing yet. If I go back to my table, uh, let's do this. We'll remove this. Is there a way to see all the grid lines? Let's see. Inspect. Uh, Layout. Show area names. Yeah. So if I see this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is alright. It says -1. 1, 2, 3, right? This is 1, 3. What if we first shift our third paragraph here, right? So we are gonna say call start. So it takes call start from 1 to 2, row start from -5 to -4. What if we do that? What if we say our hash 3 is grid column start So column wise it takes 1 to 2. 1 grid column end is 3. Sorry, no, not 3, 2. So it takes 1 to 2, and row wise it takes 2 to 3, right? Let's say grid row start it takes 2 grid row end 3. If I save that and I reload it, so is this the third paragraph? I think so, right? So 3 had a background color of this. Yeah, so this is now working. So our second paragraph, just to highlight it, I am sorry, this is the third paragraph. I'll say this, I'll remove, and I'll say third paragraph. I'll save it. So yeah, our third paragraph is now here. So this grid lines are helping quite a lot. Now let's say we want our fourth paragraph to cover this, right? We are gonna say grid 4. So I'll go here and I'll say 4. I'll say grid, what is grid area? We can, I say span 2. No, I'll see if I have fourth paragraph. Which one is our fourth paragraph? Oh, this is our fourth paragraph, so we'll have to reposition it actually. So grid area, I'll remove it. I want our fourth paragraph here, right? So it has to cover 2 to 4 in columns. So grid column start 2, grid column end 4, grid row start, since it's the bottom one, so I grid row start 2, grid row end 3. Right. So let's try that. Yeah, now our fourth paragraph is also in position. The only thing left is our fifth paragraph, which is this purple one, right? Fifth one has the burgundy one. So I'll go to 5 and I will say grid column span. Is there something like that? Let's do this one, like grid row start is 1, grid row end is 3, right? So yeah, now we have positioned it quite correctly. So I think the best case scenario would be if you go to your element layout and turn on these show area names, because once you see these, it's quite helpful how to, like, where do they start and where do they end. And yeah, now we have our layout as we wanted. So 1 2 3 4 and 5, 1 2 3 4 and 5. So yeah, that's grids for you and how you can style them. I think the two key things that you need to know is how to divide your intended layout, and once you have divided them, you just turn on your masonry lines or grid lines, and then you can just go do, row start row and column start column, and that should kind of set things up for you. And one good thing is it's quite responsive. So if I shorten this, it still maintains the masonry as it is. It doesn't change the masonry. So yeah, That's all for grids. See you in the next video, and we are going to discuss something interesting called animations in CSS.